Yo, welcome back to another episode of Black Nerd Fridays. I'm waiting on my host to hop on, but I'm your host, Ren, aka the Black Bearded Nerd, aka Mr. Refine. And today we're discussing Odina and the comics from Konkret Comics. So my co-host will be on here shortly, and we actually have the creator on here as well. Before we bring him on, we're going to talk about our normal stuff, which is our beer. Here he is. I'm gonna let you.
What
go
up,
ahead and
man?
take over,
Excuse
bro.
me. What up, world? What up, world? And excuse me for being late. Kid stuff, love stuff. Mr. Refine, thank you for holding us down. And then we got the lovely guest from Konkret Comics, man, talking about Odina. And I don't have a physical copy yet, but we got that digital that we got, and the physical
Facts.
on the way. But as we do here, as Mr. Refine was saying, we talk about comics, anime, sci-fi, movies, mangas, and more. But what do we also talk about, man? You already know, craft beer. So, Mr. Refine, before we get the guest on, what are you drinking? That's the question.
Listen, I'm taking it light and easy right now, and the only reason why is this is Cran Orange Keller beer. This is a probably 4 or 5%. I can't see it on here right now. I don't know what the ABV is. It's like real low. Either way, I'm drinking light right now because after this live, I got a couple people coming by. We're gonna have a little share, so we're gonna be drinking heavy. So I don't want to get crazy right now because I'm getting crazy later on. So this is what I'm cracking right now.
I put it the wrong way. There we go.
No, you good. You good.
You gotta get it right. There we go. All right, real quick, so we can get this person on here because I'm running late. I'm drinking the Demon Run from Urban Roots Brewing Company out of here in Sacramento, California. Shout out to Sacktown. What up, Sacktown? So I got two versions. I got one that was barrel aged for 15 months and then one for 18. So these things are both 14%. It's gonna be good times, and excuse the kids in the background. But without further ado, let's bring on the lovely guest from Konkret Comics. How we doing? What's going on? Can you hear me? You good?
I think he's muted. I think.
Look,
there you go.
Okay, what's up? What's up? Sorry, I'm on mute. I didn't know we could bring drinks.
Oh yeah, man, I'm sorry. See, I didn't get you. I should have gave you the whole rundown. That's my fault right there. Yes, sir. You can bring whatever you choose. We love craft beer here at Black Nerd Fridays, but we also, hey man, you got some cognac, you got a Moscow Mule.
I like the liqueur.
The liquor.
Okay. All right. I love it.
I love it. Well, first and foremost, man, thank you for getting onto the show. And again, I apologize about me coming in a little late. We got a list of questions. Some of them where we went through already. I talked to Mr. Refine, so I'm gonna skip through a few of them. But first and foremost, I want to get to know just from you, and then I'll type it up because I didn't have this question ready. It's just the inspiration for Odina, if I pronounced it correctly, yes, and the significance of that, because I know from reading the comic, there's a lot of historical African concepts there. You have a lot of different gods there as well, which again, love seeing everybody black, and multiple shades. Okay, multiple shades, because we come in all shades out here.
Absolutely.
So what is the significance of Odina for you and Konkret Comics, and then also just what is there a meaning behind her name, things of that nature, so we don't miss out.
Oh, absolutely. Like I said, thank you again for having me, guys. For Odina, the significance of Odina is that when I started creating it, so a lot of people don't know this, I started creating her like 5 or 6 years ago. So it this is the time as it builds up. And when I was creating her, it weren't that many black female characters, being promoted like that. And I originally started off with a black male character, but I was like, sisters don't get that much shine. So I was like, let's create a sister character. And I come from a matriarchal family. I got 8 nieces. Yeah. And
I don't mean to cut you off, but I did read that and at the end of the book. I love that. But keep going, bro. And keep going.
And I got, 4 sisters, and I got my mother. So when I get together with them, it's like chaos and fun, and it's like pure hell at the same time. I'm watching these young women grow up before my eyes. And the one thing I've noticed is that, with black women, they oftentimes don't have that representation in sci-fi. And, with black men, we barely get it. We're edging up, but we barely get it. But with black women, you can only name like Storm.
Man, talk about it. Or I can't even remember her name from the DC comics, the one that could channel in all of the
Vixen.
Yeah, Vixen. See,
Yeah,
you already knew what I was talking about. Go ahead.
Like when I would tell people, I'd be like, name 5 off the top of your head, and they would be like Storm, and it'll stop right there. So I was like, well, yeah, we got to change that narrative before all the rest of the companies start picking up. So it's kind of like my homage to the Black women in this world, like to see themselves in this world. Because let's be clear, in the Avengers movie, there should have been a sister. The first actual Avengers movie, all the other Marvel movies, it shouldn't have not have waited until Black Panther to be a Black female superhero.
Talk about it.
Yeah,
talk about it.
I wanted to really push that envelope, and also when I was creating the character, it was inspirations I was pulling from. Like the hairstyle, I got it from Fantasia Barrino. And she had like this style where it was like blonde and black on one side, and I was like, that'd be a dope hairstyle to put on a character. And when you create a Black character, you don't want to go with the typical bald head, cornrows, all the type of stuff. Black people, we versatile. We come in all different shades. You know what I'm saying? Like we
facts. Yes.
So I was like, when creating her, I wanted to build her up, then wanted to be overly sexualized, all that stuff. So it was, and then the name Odina, it was it's a Native American name meaning mountain. So kind of put that significance with her being, like a mountain. And so it kind of built from that. So yeah.
And I will say the drawings, if Suds was here, she'd be like, really, Daryl, but I'm gonna say it anyway. The drawings on point with these women. Okay, I was like, I need to get myself back in this gym out here because the outfits that the women are wearing, like when I say fit like a glove, I mean that's an understatement out here. And the brothers got on uniforms too, but it ain't like they just don't. It ain't it scopes, but it ain't scoping. Okay.
Yeah. I think what you're trying to say, there was a good job being done as far as the representation with the art itself, without being too over sexualized, but also making sure that the characters, specifically Odina and what's the other one, Misa, I believe her name is, they were highlighted correctly, and even the clips as well. So I love it. I absolutely love it.
And that's another thing too when it comes to like shades of Black people.
Yes.
Like you said, we come in different shades. We come in different styles. Like I wanted to really emphasize like on darker skin tones, lighter skin tones, brown skin tones, like really emphasize that because it's not captured when it comes to a collective of us in a comic or somewhere. It's always just one shade, one demographic, and that's it. Like, nah, dog, dude, we more than that. Like we the culture. Like
talking about, man. See, I like where you going already. So we're gonna keep it going. And this is when we're gonna jump into the they've been reading, they got questions, and Mr. Refine got my back, so he will definitely be like, next question if I'm like, hey, I answered that. So
you already know.
He already hold me down. That's what we got. That's why you got teammates right there holding it down. Right. So in this question, I really wanted to understand, like, why did the power of the gods weaken over time? Because I think a lot of movies, anime, a lot of comics and everything like that, when you have the elder gods or people or a being that's been around for eons, decades, centuries, what have you, it seems more so that their power becomes more refined and stronger. But I really enjoy that aspect of their powers weakening as they get older, because even though they're gods, seems like Mother Nature, Father Time in this realm that you've created, this world, it's like they don't beat that even though they God. So I wanted to ask you that question.
Yeah. Well, think about it. When it's something, when you've been worshipped for so long, and then after a while, you don't get that same worship. You kind of like just you're powerful, but you're not at your best. So it's kind of like, you just blending in with the rest of the world. And even though you're not like the rest of us mere mortals, you're not as at your peak.
I like that.
And it's funny because I actually thought that as I was reading it with Arensnuphis, when I was reading his specific character, and I seen it, I said, he's drawing real inspiration as to what we believed of when it came to the gods and how they lost power over time because we didn't worship them anymore. And I really thought that was dope when you incorporated that in there. That was definitely nice.
And even with Mayet, people are starting to slowly go into spiritual, back to, African spirituality with the, the concepts of Mayet, and stuff like that. So it's kind of like, this is stuff that we believed and worshiped, but now it's slowly starting to, come back to surface. So.
No, definitely, and we definitely gonna get into that more so because I definitely enjoyed that. Now, one of the next questions I want to ask right here is, why do the gods live among humanity? And you answered that more so as far as them not being worshipped, but I still felt when we were reading the issue 1 and 2 is that the creator, and I forgot his name, but I do have it written in my notebook, so we'll get back to it. Where he wanted to like almost, it was a punishment for the hybrids to separate them and put them in the purgatory.
Yep.
But it didn't seem to me like that the creator for the gods would say, okay, go live among humanity. It would almost seem like, no, you keep separate because what you did was create these abominations, quote unquote, hint, hint of what the creator said. And I really wanted to get from you, like, why did you have them live among humanity, even though they look at them in such a vile way, to be honest?
Yeah. Well, here, some of them had the option to live among humanity or go with the rest of the gods. But the ones that stayed behind, they kind of have a fondness for humanity, and can you imagine actually living in this world and knowing that there are beings who live among us, who've been around here, like the Eternals? Look at how the Eternals work.
Yep.
Like, imagine a city somewhere, like probably in Africa, somewhere where there's beings that lived long time, like, and they just kept to themselves, like to still have that element of that presence on earth, slowly but surely, but at the same time carry on that legacy of what they represented among the humans, even though it's not as strong as it used to be, but they still like encourage it in a way. So that's why some of them stayed, because they wanted to stay behind and still have that presence felt on the earth. The rest of them was like, the hell with them.
we can't use them as we choose, as we see fit. So we're gonna just do what we're gonna be separated with the creator, who again we have not seen in the comics. Which again, I'm loving that build up. So I'm actually jumping the question, Mr. Refine. With the first introduction, at least to the first guy that we met of wind, of life, wind, and air. If I got that right. And so I'm just letting Mr. Refine take over when I pop that up. Go ahead, Mr. Refine. It's on you.
Yes, I really want to know what inspiration did you draw to create, if I'm saying the name correctly, Arensnuphis. What inspiration did you draw to create him? Because first off, something about him spoke to me. It resonated. Something about his character. But what did did you have anything personally that you went through? Was there somebody that in life that that inspired you to create it? What was your inspiration behind making him?
I wanted to when creating Arensnuphis, I wanted to definitely draw inspiration from, deity, like the deities that they worshiped back in the day. It was a name that was used to create a god back in the Kush kingdom, and to have him kind of listed as to move through the world as this ancient being. I kind of wanted him to kind of have how can I put it, a devil may care attitude. Like, it's just like, I'm here, I'm chilling. I like to throw parties and stuff. But creating him, it was kind of like taking the influence of the Kush mythology and kind of giving it its own like little spin, that type of thing.
Okay. I like that because again, there's certain things that I can see, or at least in my experience, and my research, that I see that you might have drew from or pulled from, even when you're referencing as far as imagine having a being or a deity being around for this amount of time that's been living among us. And based upon what I read, I feel like that's happening regardless. Like, it's not a fictional thing. It's a non-fictional thing. So I like that. I love how you actually drawing that in and making that be a part of the storyline itself. Especially since, again, we highlighting Black people here. This ain't the run of the mill stuff. We talking about brothers and sisters in here, so I'm loving it.
That's what I'm saying.
And that's gonna draw into his next question that he put up. I'm gonna keep, like I said, I segue greatly into this. Go ahead, Mr.
Yes,
I love this, man. I'm saying good out here. Go ahead.
What inspired you to have these Egyptian references and characters? We already know we are Black. We here and we are part of the culture, and we are the culture. What specifically inspired you to use the Egyptian references, etc., or Kush? I could say Kush and Kemet. I could say.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because aren't you getting tired of hearing about Zeus and Hercules and all the other shit. Excuse me.
I don't know. We unfiltered out here. You can cuss all you want to, man.
Okay, good. Okay, now that I know. I'm tired of like hearing about Zeus and Mercury and all this other shit.
Hercules and all of them. Yeah.
Like that's not the only mythology around the world. You know, like come on, dog. Like I need something new. I need something, you know, like with the Orishas and all that stuff. Like give me that. You're making movies of all this Clash of the Titans and shit like that. I need something where I need to see us up there. Like, you know, we got history too.
Yeah, Clash of the Titans. I don't even want to talk about Clash of the Titans. But anyway, I don't even want to get into it.
I like how he get right to it. Like he just get right to the point. You ask the brother a question, he like, I'm on it. I love it.
I'm a straight shooter. Like,
that's a beautiful thing, because I think especially with comics as well, you have a lot of Black creators that have been here for a while. So this is nothing new. Nothing's new under the sun when it comes to melanated people. I think what it is now is, and I talked with this Mr. Refine and Sudz, who shout out to Sudz. We talk a lot about how it's like it's palatable now. Excuse me. And now people are more open to being like, you know what, I don't care what you think of me, because there's a group, there's a structure for me to go in and be with like-minded people. And I think the more and more we keep pushing our narrative, not what white media or white men want us to push, where you got to be, if you're going to be in Egypt and then you're just always going to be fairly light skinned, or you're going to be a medium brown to where you're not necessarily quote unquote African. And that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, I appreciate. Go ahead. You can say. Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say, how the hell are you surviving in sun without melanin? Like,
thank you.
Thank you. Oh man, you see, this is what I'm talking about. We're gonna talk way offline on some other stuff. One of the things I want to ask about the creator, because he was the creator was mentioned, and I wanted to ask this question: is like, why did the creator not look at the gods as more of the problem than the hybrids? And the reason why I asked that question, or to give it more context, is that the hybrids wouldn't exist without the gods using humanity as literally. Like some, they actually did fall in love with humanity. The other ones was just like their plaything. So, what was that? What was that when you were writing that conversation about the creator and what the creator did to separate the hybrids from the immortal world or the world of men? What was that concept, and why did the creator not look in the direction of the gods being, again, the root cause?
You know what? Because isn't it obvious that when you have this desire to want something that you don't really give a shit about what someone else thinks, and you are the one that's right. So the guys had this in this mind that, you know, that they're the ones that's right. You know, they're creating these perfect humans, you know, and so they're going to try to control them, not thinking like we're the problem. Like, you know, we laid with these mortals and we create them, but we're not to blame. The hybrids are. So that's why we got to get rid of them. You know, like, it's kind of like the woman Lady T. Like, she is so, like, she wants to free her people. She believes in her head that they should inherit the earth. See how this mindset, like, you can adopt a mindset for these characters and it'd be like the most insane thing. And that's what separates them from the hero. It's just like, no, that's not right. That's not how you should look at it. But, you know, that's why Arensnuphis is here to kind of also stay behind to kind of correct those, you know.
Yeah.
So.
I think Arensnuphis being that just calculated. I've seen it all. For a long time, and just the aspect of that, we don't think we're in the wrong, and that's a big thing, and that can happen. That's just like that can transcend throughout any type of aspect in life. No matter how righteous your fight is still somebody else. If not, they're being hurt. Their skin is not right to them. So. I got that concept, but I wanted to, I got to get you to spell it out for the audience.
Look, you gotta educate me.
And one of my other questions that I want to get into is like, why do gods overlook the potential of humanity? And this is a common theme in all comics, anime, sci-fi, even just basic storytelling. Anybody that has some power or what they perceive as absolute power, they just, when it comes to humanity, they just do they only see our potential for screw ups, but not for the potential to be at the level that they're at. And I wanted to really get your thought process on that.
You know why? Because how do we look at flies? We look at them as annoying. And we just look, as soon as one lands, we want to swat it, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's what we are to them. It's like we're flies. It's like we're not even that important. So
this man, I gotta come up with more questions. He not
he
like rapid fire.
I told you, he knocking him down. He just like you said, he's a straight shooter. I like it.
This is good. So see, this is even now. I'm gonna get a little lighthearted on this question. As I transfer over, and I want to know it. Will we find out the history between Odina and Devin? Because Devin, with his smirky smile, when what's her name that can do photo. I
believe Eclipse, maybe.
Yeah, Eclipse. Yeah, Eclipse. Thank you. I was like, when that smile, I was like, okay, I gotta watch him. You know, it's just like if you read comics, watch anime, anything like that. Anytime somebody's smiling and you never show all their face, or you know, they kind of like in the background somewhere. Like, you know, you got to keep an eye on that. So will we find out, and how many issues will it take is my question.
To be honest with you, it will not take long because they do have like a history. They actually came up in the program together. So one of the things, like Devin was the actual superhero I was going to actually start with when it came to like the comic book. However, you know, things didn't work out. So I was like, well, let me create a tie-in character, which came to be Odina. There is a book, issue 0, that I'm getting redone to like push out, where it kind of shows like a little their meetup after she comes back into the fold. But as far as in their history, like what really happened unfold, we're gonna stick to the live action series to learn more about that, because he's actually in the series I wrote for the screen for the TV series. So, yeah. Like the TV series picks up right as she's going back into civilization, like as general, like as under, like, you know, just being herself. So, and he pops up every once in a while.
Don't let that go over your head. He said the live action. Can we come on now?
That didn't go over my head. I heard that.
I know.
I heard that clear as day.
I had to accentuate it. I had to make sure that was clear. We're talking about live action out here. Okay, this thing is going to, you know, on the screen so you can see it, palpable for you in your eyes. Okay, in all different ways. Okay, so no, I definitely think Devin's character and Odina, again, their relationship, as far as the back and forth, kind of like I'm the lieutenant, or I'm the commander.
He's kind of like the Boy Scout, you know. He's a Boy Scout of the group, and you know, and one of the things with Devin you're gonna learn is that he will try to get the job done no matter what. You know, you have people like that, and if you're at a job and you know that one person who they try to go above and beyond. You know, ass kissing, you know, all that type of stuff. Whereas when you got the other person like Odina, like she's all out of fucks to give, you know. So
all of them, all the smoke at all times.
Yeah. So yeah. Little history.
I can't wait to
I got one for you, but I'll type it up after I ask it. Why is Odina so arrogant? Like, as I watched her,
that's gonna tie in. That's gonna tie into this one, right? We on the same page. Look at that.
Okay, go ahead.
We was all right here. Bam. Where did you derive Odina's personality from? We on the same page. That's what I'm talking about.
I wouldn't necessarily say she's arrogant. More so when she's young, she's feeling herself. You know, the thing with life, and I really want to stress this when it came to. All of us, it don't matter, man, woman, what walk of life you come from. There's a point in your life where you smelling yourself and you think you the shit, ain't nobody knock you down, and issue 3, she finds out that she's not top dog like she thinks she is.
That's what I'm talking about.
And think of like also another reference is the Sha'Carri Richardson. I'm not gonna say she was arrogant. That's just that she was feeling herself. She is fast. I mean, can I beat her? Hell no. She probably smoked me on the field. However, at that moment, her mouth was carried on. So what happened? She lost, but she got a chance for a comeback. So, that personality comes from just all of us. Young, we feeling ourselves. We're at that point in our life where, you know, we the baddest, but guess what? When you find out in the world that someone else bigger and badder. So
and it'll never change, because no matter how strong, fast, smart, whatever, there's always somebody that's either cultivating in the wound or it's already here. And you just ain't met them yet.
Yeah. Think of like if you had superpowers and you strong and you know, you kind of like, you know, like, man, they need me to do this, you know, they always need me to do this. When you have a slight chip on your shoulder, like, damn, what y'all want? You know?
Yeah, I agree. And it kind of tied into exactly what you said earlier, where the name even comes from mountain. So maybe that adds to that as well. I like that.
Yeah.
I like that. The perfect way to display that character.
Yeah. But overall, the personalities definitely come from all of us as a collective at one point in our life. And also, you know, watching, you know, like I said, I watch my nieces as they grow up, you know. Sometimes, you know, they get a little, you know, they smelling themselves, and I see life knocking them down. I'm just like, you know, people got to learn. You can't tell them. They got to learn themselves. So that's where I wanted that build up.
Oh yeah, see, and I'm getting these questions ready. You got me typing. I was like, man, I got to figure out more questions. Man, this is the fastest responses we didn't had in the show, man. Congratulations, you are first.
This is a good conversation. Look, I'm just saying, like this.
So I'm gonna jump into it. What do you want this series to do for Black women? And when you talked about it, but I wanted just like to spell it out, because I think a lot of times when it comes to comics, it's always focused on white males first and foremost, and then you get Black males that get in that under that umbrella as far as the target audience, once they come in and say that we actually like it, and they can like, oh, we can use y'all to make money again.
Exactly.
So what is it that you want Black women to take away from it, and just girls in general too, for them to even be introduced to the world of comics? So I'm gonna shut up.
Yeah, no, that's a good question, because the first part of that I'm gonna answer is, you know, it takes me back to, you know, the representation of, you know, Black women seeing themselves in the superhero movie. But to go a little deeper than that, you know, think of how Black kids and especially like young Black girls and boys, are already put in a situation where they have to be adult, or they're over sexualized, you know, or, you know, they're already like, they don't enjoy their childhood. You know,
Facts.
we're not born to this world to come in this world to the privilege of being young Black kids like we want to, even though there's some things we do remember, you know, like the cartoons, you know, stuff like that.
Exactly.
But I've never seen like young Black girls, you know, really up until now focus on like an anime. What's their favorite cartoon character? You know, like get to like familiar where they can enjoy their childhood. That's what I would like young Black girls to really take into Odina, is that it's a comic book. Enjoy it. You're young. Enjoy your adolescence. You know, don't rush to be grown, because trust me, the shit's overrated.
Man, talk about it.
It's overrated. You know, just take your time. Like, enjoy the cartoons. Watch Animaniacs. Shit, sit and watch cereal. You know, eat cereal. You know, just enjoy yourself.
That's
like,
what I'm talking about.
With the Instagram and all this other shit, like to look a certain way. Be cool. Like, you know.
And I think that, go ahead.
It's hard to do that. It really is, because you have to understand right now, let's just say just for this generation, the amount of technology that is in their face that's accessible to them, whether it be a laptop, whether it be an iPhone, iPad, even televisions and stuff, everything is easily accessible. So they kind of disregard having the same way we grew up. Like, we were outside, we played, we're a little bit more active, etc. We enjoyed cartoons a little bit more. This generation is a little bit more lenient and reliant upon technology than any other generation in this world. And you know, being able to showcase these sisters in here, I love to see that, because I understand the lack of that representation just in all aspects of all walks of life. And to put it on the front street is definitely something I love. Now, here's a question I want to kind of segue with. It's not written on here. This is off the top of my head. with this concept that you have and the representation that you put out, did you experience any pushback on anything that you had that you wanted to put out?
Probably, you know what? Here's the thing. I probably did, but I'm such a hard-headed person that I don't. I'm pretty sure that was something someone probably either said or did, and I'm still fighting through battles like when it comes to like production on the back end, like stuff. But I'm such and I thank God for this, resilient person that I'm just like, well, it's more than one way around a mountain, you know. I'll walk through it, climb over it, it don't matter. But there's definitely been some pushback on, you know, when trying to like really get yourself out there, because as a Black creator, let's be clear, I'm grassroots. I don't have the Marvel and DC money, and so you know we are battling, you know, the algorithm.
Yes,
you know, we're battling marketing. You know, we're battling, you know, companies like that hiring other Black creators to kind of, you know, yeah, that thing.
Yeah,
yeah, that. But and so you know, when we're such a small collective of Black indie creators, we got so much working for us, or working against us. So it's like so small, and we're just like we're yelling. That's why we're trying to get out now, even after during the pandemic when that really set us back. Trying to get out to kind of like do a Master P where we're selling, you know, the books. You know, we're getting the streets. You know, that's
right out that trunk, man. That Bay Area, you know. Shout out to I'm from the Bay Area, from Oakland, California. You know, where Master P was in Richmond, California, where I live now. So shout out to the rich, you know, get it out the trunk, man. That's how the Bay do. But go ahead.
And it's kind of like, you know, and then on top of that, but you know, like the pandering and you know that they do and all the other stuff. It's just, you know, we're just trying to create our culture the way we want it, and that's where the pushback comes when you have more eyes on those people who got the money. You know, whereas we have to, you know, budget a little bit more. So that's where the pushback comes back from that. It's really working from morning till dawn, doing everything yourself. I mean, like literally everything.
Now, with that being said, are you experiencing the exact same thing on this live action aspect? Is that exact same thing happening?
Kind of, but at the same time, I will say this. I am blessed to be in Atlanta, Georgia, where we have a plethora of Black talent and Black directors and producers and independent creators out there. The one thing, even though I know Hollywood and New York, you know, kind of looks down on Atlanta for, you know, I guess not being, you know, professional enough for them. That's their standards, not mine. It's their standards. Well, yeah, I know that. I know that because I'm in the fields with some of these brothers and sisters. Like I've actually worked with them on sets. Like these people work hard as hell. And granted, it is a lot of reality shows here, but you know, that doesn't make us but
facts.
But I know for a fact there's a lot of us. It's just the funding, it's the money, it's you know what we can do, because it's a lot, the talent's here. It's just getting the money together to kind of, you know, for locations, you know, equipment, that type of thing. So that's the pushback. It's not the talent. You got the talent. It's just the funding and the money for stuff. So
yeah. And again, man, we segue. I love this. This is a great conversation because we going in. This is when I was popping up, but didn't mean to by accident. And it ties into pretty much what you were talking about. I wanted to ask, like, what have you learned about the business side of the comic book publishing world and the production world? Because you talked about it a little bit, but like I said, I like throw it on the table because I mean, you know, as much as you want to, because again, we want you as a Black person to excel by any means necessary to get to the vision. But we definitely want people to understand, not just to, not just be preaching to the choir, but people to really get what Black creators go through. In this business world that's predominantly white male. For a reason. But go ahead.
No, this is a good question because I'm glad because this might take up most of the time. So
I got one.
Get ready. So one thing, I learned about production from both sides, not just from being, the film industry, but the comic book industry. The comic book industry, go ahead and get ready to not think that you're going to go ahead and get that mindset that you might not sell a lot of books. A lot of people think just because they created a nice little cute book that they're going to be selling out millions. No, get your ass to a Comic-Con and start pimping that shit like it's pancakes or something. I don't know. I don't give a fuck what you're trying to sell, but get your ass out there. And they get disappointed, they get discouraged, and I say to them, do not do that. That's the whole point of this. You wanted to do this, put in the work. A lot of people don't know, like creating Odina, it was a 6-year process to get to her to this point right now. And I still have to go just as hard. Like when it comes to like posting, on all the social medias myself, trying to figure out cons to go to, spending money for cons, traveling.
Talk about it, because we 2022, that's what we gearing up to do. But go ahead, let me shut up.
All right, look, I already made a list of all the stuff I want the cons I got planned out. So then, not only that, but then think of like further into the production of the actual book. There's 6 roles in the actual comic book. Like you got the writer, which is the creator. Then you got the artist, the inker, the colorist, and the editor. Sorry, forgot about the editor. So you got to go through that process and have that shit already set up. So like how it's going to go, because if you out of step and you got your book waiting, like your pages are not even done, like it sends everything in a whack. It's kind of like a chain line. Like, you do it, then the next person do it, the next person do it. But sometimes you run into people who I hate to say it, kind of like lax, and they don't, their work ethic kind of is shitty. So you got to wait almost a year. It took Odina issue 1 almost a year for it to get done. And that's all I'm going to go into detail for that, because I learned my lesson that first go round.
Wow.
That's right. Yeah. Lesson learned, experience. We're going to get to that. Well, you're going to tie this into this question anyway. But yeah, man.
And also
a year.
Handling your business, contracts. Have your stuff set up where you have your contract set up for like when you want to work, contract out work. So it's like so much to this business side of things. Like that's what I'm saying. Like you can't just think you can come in, pop out a book, and it's gonna be like gravy. Nah, nigga, you better get put in that work. You about to be stressed out, sleepless nights. You about to be like, they're gonna be downtime, but you can be like, am I doing right? I mean, does people like my shit? Like it's gonna be, like creator doubt. So now that's the comic book side of things. Now, and then like I ain't even getting into like, the networking part. So we're gonna cut that because I'm trying to not burn some bridges.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, just some subtle things from the production world that we can learn about, because we want you to get, like I said, we want you to excel. We can do that off mic. We can get phone numbers. We can text and call and be like, yo, this is what's going on. Go ahead.
Yeah. But no, for the production side of things, it's definitely a similar situation when you are, trying to start from the bottom. Like remember I said location scouting. And then with that, doing breakdowns for talent, and doing casting call sheets, hiring a DP and a director, a producer, getting PAs, and then, also the days of the shoot, craft services, which means feeding people, morning and dinner, whatever, like, because, like guidelines, you got to feed the people. I've heard some people have never been fed while they're on set, and that is not, that does not leave a good mark on some of the people in the industry. Yeah. So, and then, finding the right people to collaborate with. I'm going to be collaborating with a brother who, his name is Open Gate Studios, and he's making, he does like special effects, all that, talented brother. So I already got like my actress ready. It's just more stuff to do as well. So, and then also networking. So yeah, it's a lot. I told you, look, so But you know what though?
I'm
I'm willing to put in that work because I'm a worker bee. I'm not one of these people who are like something's going to happen overnight. There will be times I do get discouraged. I can admit that, and I will get defeated. But I pick my ass right back up and get into the game because this is not one of those overnight things. This is one of the things where you better be ready to put in 6 to 10 years of work.
So you see that vision already down the road where pretty much you understand this is the time I need to put in because it's not an overnight success. Yes. Now, with that being said, are you working with all brothers and sisters on this project, or is it just whoever is the best for the job? Specifically, when you're talking about behind the scenes, because I already know the characters themselves, the cast is going to be us.
Yeah, no, it's so far specifically all of us. I mean, but like you said, if someone does offer their expertise, and I was like, but for the most part, it's all us.
In Atlanta, you know what I mean?
Exactly.
I mean, come on, gotta love Atlanta for that. Gotta love.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, you cannot. No one ever says to me like, well, how you can't find it. And I was like, in Atlanta, we got like a ton of motherfuckers here who do whatever you need. So
every single thing they say.
Yeah.
Every single thing they say. But this, and then again, it's not regurgitating the question, but it's also allowing you to be more fine-tuned with it. When I ask us, what behind the scene jobs do we as Black creators, so I'm putting the onus on us, need to do to have more Black people in all aspects of the creative career? So you did mention DPs, you mentioned catering. Like, what other things do we as Black creators who do podcasts or cosplay models or people who do clothing, what do we miss that you like? You know what? If y'all started here, this will definitely allow more of y'all to come into the space and find careers where you could do this as your day job versus something that you're doing as your side hustle to hopefully make it your day job.
I think networking events would be like the best thing as far as, especially for Black creators. Someone who probably hosts a gathering, like a networking event, because they do it in the film industry when it comes to like TV directors, writers, and stuff like that. But for Black creators such as ourselves, like podcasts, vloggers, comic book and anime people, we don't have networking events like that. We have the cons. So like, imagine if we actually had an event where we'd be like, hey, I want to have you on my show to talk about your comic, and it'd be like, cross and and have our cosplayers, as well as that. Because I had to find me a cosplayer to play Odina for Afropunk. And I feel like with so many Black cosplayers, it should not be a hunt.
And I'm gonna speak. Oh no, I'm gonna speak on it, Mr. Refine. I'm gonna say why. And the reason being is because, and I've done it myself, and Mr. Refine seen a lot of the messages on our DM cosplayers, Black women in particular, because again, KinkySudz, Dr. Sudz, our co-host, Black woman cosplayer, and I reach out to him, and I'm like, hey, would you like to get on the show? And again, for me, follow up on my side needs to happen more. Where it's like, hey, I want to get you on the show. I want to talk about maybe a particular anime you like. But on the second time too, you have a lot of cosplay women that again they are working to get to what they think that position of cosplay is, and I think we're not seeing, again, everybody says do for self, but the problem is that we don't look at the back end.
No.
We look at the front end. So what you giving me up front? And I'm not saying these are for the cosplay women that I've reached out to. I'm just saying, what are you doing for me up front that I need now versus the back end? And I think that's where, for you to take that long to find someone to play Odina. Like, there's the cosplay women that I follow that are all Black. Like, I know 2 of them off the top of my head that I could go to their page and be like, this person would have been perfect to play Odina. Like off bat. And I think it's also that not only communication, but like, hey, this is something I want to do with you, and I want to grow with you as I want to create a relationship so that it can become something more. Because up front, like you said, everything is majority out of pocket for you. Even when you're attempting to get capital and things of this nature, you don't have DC lawyers, you don't have Disney, aka Marvel lawyers to come up here and be like, yo, we about to give you $1 million to start this. I mean, you might get 5,000, 10,000.
Yeah.
You're like, what the hell am I about to do with 5 or 10,000? Excuse me, I was off looking off on the camera. Like, what the hell? I mean, 5 or 10,000. Just the amount of people that you named just to get the comic done, like that's not covering none of their expenses. And now you're talking about going to Comic-Cons and having a cosplayer be specifically who you find and think fits the mold of your character to go to multiple Comic-Cons, go to multiple events, and do that day in, day out, week in, week out. Like it's just not enough. So I clearly understand you, but one of the things I wanted to say before, and I'm gonna stop talking again, is that's what I want next year in 2022. I heard you loud and clear. Like you gotta show up. Like whatever it is you want to do, you gotta show up, and then you just gotta be. I'm not afraid of a no. And I was taught that by my cousin at like 8 years old. Like I'm not afraid of a no. So I'm gonna just go in there and I'm just gonna be like, not just we should. I'm gonna be like, hey, I'm doing this networking thing because it only takes 5 people. Okay, 5 of us. Cool. Yeah. Now it's 10. Now it's 20. Now it's 50. Next thing you know, like, dang, we should did this a long time ago. No, we did it just the time that we needed. Yeah. So let's just get it going. So
facts.
That's a beautiful thing right there.
But that goes back to that conversation that I always say: we stronger together than we are apart. And a lot of times, as you stated, and the same thing I said, we are looking for something up front than more on the back end, because sometimes you don't necessarily need to say, hey, I have capital for you, but you might be able to, if you can see the vision, you can see the back end aspect, and you say, you know what, brother, you know what, sister, I got you. I'll support you in this aspect or whatever project you're doing, because I know in the long term, it'll not only better myself, it'll better us as a collective. And a lot of times we don't have that mindset when we're being approached or when we're thinking about creating stuff, because people want that front end. They want money. They want to see what they can gain. So that's the difficult part about it.
It is. But at the same, and I totally agree. That's why I think sometimes, with the networking, you got to kind of approach it like, well, get you in front of these people, like kind of.
Yes.
Doctor it up a little.
I'm gonna just be blunt. I'm gonna be like, check this out. We doing a networking event where we're gonna do podcasts, live episodes, multiple podcasters, multiple shows. We're gonna get like maybe a cosplay concert. I mean, a cosplay judge, the pageant type of thing going, or whatever it could be. Invite males and females and everybody. And get it going. And I think that a lot of the Black cons do that to a level, but it's just you see the same people, and it's more so. And again, I've never been, so I'm only going off of my hypothesis from what I see. Is that like it's just it starts to click up. So this group of people hang out with this group of people. And I'm trying to get with everybody, because I think there's a path or a bridge that can be made for a lot of people that they would have never talked to that person, and they're like, oh snap, I talked to that person and look what happened. So definitely,
because you never know who you're standing beside. So
that's a fact. Yeah, man, that's a fact. So I'm gonna ask this, and this could be the last question, but I'm gonna just ask it.
Well, real quick,
go ahead.
Before you go on that, it's funny you said that, because one of the things Issa Rae, she said, a lot of people try to network up. Instead, you should be networking across. Man, the people, and those are people in the trenches. They're just as hungry as you. So that's what I'm. But yeah, go ahead. Sorry.
No. I gotta let that breathe for a second. You got me. I'm learning all this. And shout out to Earn Your Leisure podcast for some of these statements I'm getting from them. No lie. Shout out to Rashad Troy and Ian Dunlap, Market Mondays, and Roland Martin Unfiltered. I'm always support you, Roland. I got you in class with Dr.
In class with Carr. Let's go.
Come on, man. I'm dropping all the names.
Let's go.
No, I think that is key. And I heard her say that, and I forgot what interview that was. And a lot of people don't. That's back to that front end versus back end, and it's back to that you create the table that you want, and then you go to their table and say, no, this is us, not me. And I think a lot of times, and I'm gonna put this question back on there so people know what we're talking about. a lot on the replay. I think a lot of times we want a bench seat so we can stand on it and get into their table, instead of having our table and coming as a group and saying this is what it is that we want. And I think the we is better than I, because the I is for you and maybe a couple of your team members. The we is like, you may not get your 50% of the quarter piece of the pie, but now it's all of us got 50% of that 2/3 of the pie. Now we're talking a different story. So anyway, I ain't gonna go too long with that. So this will be probably this is gonna be my last question for you. Is how can we as creators help you to get to your vision? Because I think a lot of times we don't ask, back to that point, we don't ask how can we be of service. Shout out Ian Dunlap for saying that. How can we be of service to you so that you can get to the vision that you see for
first of all, thank you for having me on this platform, because this has been one of the best interviews.
Thank you.
Two, buy my shit.
I got the digital and I got the hard copy. Okay, but I'll talk to you about that hard copy a little later. We're gonna talk about that.
Oh, don't worry. Yeah, I appreciate the help, as we all in this together, word of mouth, just letting people know, hey, I know a Black creator, Black female superhero. Check it out. And you ain't even gotta buy anything. Just a share and a like from me is all, what I'm saying.
And you know what's so crazy now you think about it, and this is exactly what D said. It's palatable, it's acceptable now. And back when we were younger, this was definitely frowned upon. And how the tables have turned to where everybody wants to be in the culture and be a part of this aspect. And that's also a beautiful thing. But I hate that we have to go through these leaps and bounds to get recognized, at least even by our own people sometimes.
Yeah.
But on the same token,
faux Negroes.
Yeah.
Oh man, this is great. I can't wait to talk to him after the show.
Listen, it's great to be able to have a space where we can talk and conversate and just get our feelings out there, but we also have the like mind. We all like comics, we all like anime, we all like sci-fi and stuff, and to be able to be in the same space that I'm comfortable in. I'm definitely comfortable being around my own people, having this conversation. That is the beauty of it. But a lot of times you get lost in the sauce. People worrying about that financial aspect more than just listen, let's help each other out, because in the end we all win.
Yeah, and it's funny you said that, because that's one of the things that I'm just like, I don't want to get lost in the sauce to the point where I neglect what I'm really doing it for. Because I'm not trying to be tap dancing for nobody, and none of that. I don't got time for that shit.
I love this conversation.
It's not me. It's not in my spirit. It's just. And the reason why, also another thing I want to point out for my book is that, somebody asked me with the way they write books right now, with the woke movement and all that other stuff, I was like, well, here's the thing. I don't have to tell you I'm Black. You can see I'm Black. I don't got to prove to you I'm Black.
Talk, man. Tell him. Tell him. I don't gotta show you. I ain't gotta tell you. You look at me, and you can you gonna judge and preconceived notions and all that. So yes,
that's what I'm saying. So
well, with that, see, that's how you end the goddamn show right now. It was a pleasure. First of all, I didn't even get the name. I didn't do none of that. I just said Konkret Comics. I came here, so I'm gonna give you the spiel. I'm gonna let you talk real quick. I'm gonna put myself on mute because the little one is crying. Let everybody know where they can find you. Of course, name Konkret Comics, we know, and then what we should be looking out for.
Absolutely. My name is Onaja Rouse, the creator of Odina and Kandake, right down there. You can find me on Obsolete Studios LLC on Instagram and on Twitter. And also, you can get the free download from Kandake on the Konkret website, as well as also issues 1, 2, and 3 will, I think, come up eventually, because we have that coming up soon. So, yeah.
I'm talking about, and whenever you want to utilize this platform to promote, please do not hesitate, because this is what we do. This is another wonderful episode of Black Nerd Fridays, and it's D Neal. November month is mine. Shout out to all the Scorpios for November, even though I'm not one, but it's November month, and I've had a blast with all the comic creators and to talk to them and just the differences, and again, don't hesitate to keep reading. Don't hesitate to continue, give it a try, no matter what you think about the comic, because there's so many comics from Marvel and DC that y'all have read that was trash, but you waited to you waited till like comic book number 20, issue number 20, where you was like, all right, I'm done. But then with the Black creator, you like, oh, issue 1, it wasn't enough. Issue
I'm
2,
reading something now. I'm just like, oh,
I'm throwing it away. Don't do us like that. But anyway, catch us every Friday. Next Friday is going down as usual. Actually, I don't know if next Friday going down. I got to talk to the team because again, Thanksgiving, Indigenous People Day, where the white people came and killed all the Indians.
Thank you. I'm glad you said that.
Yeah,
I'm glad
exactly.
you said that.
We don't. Black people don't celebrate Thanksgiving. We just like to get the holidays off from what this white colonial society has done. But anyway. I am D. Neal, Mr. Refine. Konkret Comics himself is going down, and we will catch you on the next episode of Black Nerd Fridays. And we out.